right now. Welcome everyone to What You Need to Know Wednesday. Today is May, you guys like that? 27th. I have to look at the calendar because I have no idea what day it is today. I'm kidding. I'm so excited to have so many of you on the call with us today because we have a wonderful, wonderful topic that everyone wants to know more about. Money. How exciting is that? So first up, we're going to have John Jenkins with Amarant Bank, and he's going to talk to us about changes in residential lending. After John, we're going to have Erika Alvarez from Frost Bank to talk about the current state of affairs, SBA and commercial lending. And Mr. Douglas Hord will wrap us up with, are you running at or near zero profit to avoid paying taxes? The consequences could be worse. So that is our first class referrals team. And from our Southeast Texas region, I'm super excited about having Mackenzie Lahaye on with us from Edward Jones. And she's going to talk to us about what's changed with my money or your money. So what I would like to do is ask Mr. John Jenkins to start us off. If you would just come on, tell us your name, the name of your business, what chapter you're representing today, and give us some great information.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is John Jenkins. I'm with Amarant Bank. I'm a Vice President of Residential Lending there. And I'm also with First Class Referrals. And I'm here to talk to you about credit. In particular, basically forbearance. I've been hearing a lot about that, via social media and whatnot. And it seems that a lot of people are confused in regards to how forbearance affects their credit. And one of the things, I've talked to our lead personnel in credit, and I've talked to lead personnel at Chase and also at Wells. These are also institutions I previously worked at as well. And it's a case-by-case basis. However, the understanding is that the forbearance does not specifically affect your credit, but I'm taking that back. It does affect your credit, but it's not reported on your credit. So it's not going to make your credit score go down. But however, other lenders, when I pull your credit or anybody else pulls your credit, they're going to be able to see that, hey, you're in forbearance. And the problem with that is if you put your loan in forbearance, the next lender is going to say, well, why were you in forbearance? Why are you trying to get a loan with me? You didn't have the ability to repay your loan there. Why should I give you a loan? And what is your current situation? And it's a case-by-case standard. If you have lost your job, that's one thing, but there are a lot of people out there trying to game the system, and that's what they're trying to weed out. Were you really sick? Did you really lose your job? Could you really not pay your bills? Or are you really trying to game the system? And they will ask a lot of questions. Please know that when you inquire with your lender about forbearance or you take forbearance, they create a whole file on you. So I've called Flagstar Bank on other clients of mine's loans, and I mean, they really have a file on you. So be careful what you tell them, think it through. And if you really do not need forbearance, do not apply for it. So that's pretty much it. I mean, Doug did say I had an hour to ramble on, but I'll just take the 5 minutes and pass it on to Miss Alvarez. If anybody, I don't know if anybody has questions or in regards to.
Yeah, thank you, John. This is a super important topic. You guys, if you don't understand what forbearance is, you should ask questions because it is really, really important. Your mortgage company is telling you, oh yeah, you can just defer your payments. Well, it will definitely get you in trouble. So does anybody have any questions? Please come off of mute. We've got plenty of time today if you'd like to ask John a question.
I have a question from a landlord perspective. I have a tenant that hit hard times and they're not paying rent. So I did apply for forbearance for that property. Do you think that that's a bad idea to do forbearance until they start paying rent again? Because you can't like evict someone during all this, you know what I mean? And I don't want to do that. I'm just curious opinions.
So no, I do not. I know that they are I don't know if they're going to extend it for the 12 months for the investment owners. Typically, they were looking to extend this to a primary residence owner. So there are a lot of people out there that have Airbnbs or an investment property like yourself. And but I don't think it's a bad idea. But you're probably going to have to, at one point in time, evict them, and the forbearance will have to be removed.
Okay. And do you think that from like a lending perspective, if I wanted to do a loan in the future, do you think that this forbearance period would affect that?
Yes, they're going to ask questions.
Yeah.
They are. You know, even if you want to refinance your own house, even if you kept paying your own mortgage, they're going to ask questions. So,
Okay.
because like I said, it's going to be in bold and it's highlighted: mortgage, conventional, Fannie Mae mortgage, forbearance.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when the box of worms just opens all the way up.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
That's a great
Everybody
question.
looks so scared.
Anyone else?
I wanted to add one more comment to John's topic. Also, you know, a lot of people are feeling anxious about their credit scores. So I wanted to let everybody know that from now until April 2021, you can retrieve your credit reports via annualcreditreport.com. And you can retrieve it weekly. And this is free because right now, you know, everybody is on alert on trying to figure out what's being reported to the top 3 credit bureaus. So, you know, if you have a client or you have someone that wants to check on their credit, this would be a good website. You do need to enter your, you know, of course, your Social Security number, et cetera. But in case that you have someone asking, I don't know how I look right now, you know, or if anything has changed on my credit history, they can certainly go here and look at their credit scores and see what's actually being reported.
That's great. Erika, thank you for offering that. I typed it into the chat, annualcreditreport.com.
Yeah, so it's go ahead, I'm sorry.
Is there like a lot more information on that versus like a Credit Karma?
You know, this, you possibly won't have any ads. It's going to be just straight your credit history. It's a credit report. So the top 3 reporting agencies are going to come up, which is Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So if you go to the website, it'll walk you through the steps, and it's www.annualcreditreport.com. And like I said, they will provide free weekly credit reports. So it's a good tool to have and to share with any of your clients if they're concerned.
Yeah, thank you, Erika. We've got a couple other people off of mute. Do you guys have questions?
I was going to ask, does it hurt your credit score to access your credit, to get your credit report? I think I'd heard that in the past, that if you pull your credit, then it hurts your score.
No, if your credit is pulled excessively, it will hurt your score. But just for you to check on your own credit, no, it's not going to hurt your score. So I can tell you just from experience, what I see a lot of people go to car dealerships. That's the main corporate problem. They go to the car dealerships, and the car dealership runs your credit through all these different banks. And it's kind of like your credit got pulled like 30 times or 20 times. And that will definitely drag down your score immediately. You can go from 800 to 650 just like that.
I have a question. Oh.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
In the forbearance, I think I had heard some earlier on when this all started, to reach out to your lender, your mortgage lender, to say, hey, can you, do this, not a forbearance, but to just skip payments and just have them added to the back end. So is that the same as forbearance?
Yes. So different institutions have different ways in which they are improvising the rules. So, and what one thing people need to know is that everybody's loan is not a government loan. Everybody's loan is not a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan. Some people's loans are a portfolio. So that means the bank never even sold it off. It's with the bank. And the bank has the ability to make up their own rules. If they want to only give you 2 months forbearance, that's what they'll give you. If they only want to give you 3 months, that's what they'll give you. They don't have to give you 12 months. I can tell you from experience, the only thing that matters, especially in mortgage or any type of lending, is what's in writing. So make sure whatever you receive or whatever information your lender is giving you or providing you, make sure they give it to you in writing, so that it's not interpreted differently. So you have a really clear understanding of what they're giving you. Are you rolling this into the back of my loan? Will it only be paid off when I sell the house? And how much is that going to be? So I've seen a multitude of different practices from different lenders and different institutions of how they are handling this. This is all new to everybody. And it's kind of like everybody's making up their own rules as they go along, which is kind of scary. Because I think in the next 6 months or so, you will start seeing, talk about my forbearance is not what I thought it was.
That's great information, John. So it sounds like your advice is we should all go and talk to our lender to make sure that we absolutely understand what terms they're using and how that affects us for our mortgages.
That is correct. And also get it in writing. If you don't do anything else, get it in writing. And if it's something, the verbiage is something you don't understand, you can always share it with somebody else and they can break it down to you so that you have a better understanding as well. So, good. And be careful, because I think all of you or most of you guys are business owners. What you write off this year, I'm pretty sure Douglas will be hitting on that just in case you want to qualify or refinance for a mortgage next year when the rates are crazy low and you're wondering why you can't refinance and you can't get that 2.5 that everybody keeps throwing in your face that they got. So it's really hard on business owners. So just keep that in mind.
Good. Thank you, John. So you thought you were only going to talk for 5 minutes. I see Mary Alice. Hi, Mary Alice. Welcome. We're so glad you're here to visit with us today. All right, Erika, thank you for adding to what John was talking about. I know you have a topic for us today as well. So if you would introduce yourself, tell us the name of your business and what chapter you're from, and give us some more information.
Yes, thank you so much. My name is Erika Alvarez, and I represent Frost. I am a member of First Class Referrals as well, and I hold the business banker or commercial lender chair. And so what my topic is, things that lenders will be asking for going forward, or changes that you might see going forward whenever you go to apply for a loan, for a commercial loan. So, many business owners were impacted through COVID. Sales were down, costs are up on supply. And, lenders will need to have an understanding of where your company is. And the vital part is having communication. And like John said earlier, communicate, get it in writing, talk to your banker. Having a banker contact is going to be vital for your business, because you need to tell them your story. You need to tell them where you're at, what has changed in your business model. And talking about business model as far as, revenue, where your revenue is now, and having proper documentation, updated financial statements. That's going to be very important whenever you prepare a package for a lending request. Also, the payment capacity of your customers, are they paying you on time? Is that affecting your company? And also touching back on cost, has your supply chain been disruptive? Has it taken time for that to come back on track? Has it affected your ability to fill orders? If you're in the service industry, maybe you've switched your model a little bit because you're offering now services online, etc. So how has your business model changed? Those are things that lenders are going to be asking, and where you stand now. And also, what are your projections? What do you forecast? What are your inflows and outflows for the next 90 days? What changes have you made? And where's your current cash position as well? Do you have sufficient cash to help you through the next 90 days, 180 days, while everything fully reopens, and when people get full confidence of going into places of business to, purchase goods, to whatever your service may be, do they have full confidence? So things like that are affecting businesses, and maybe you have changed your business model and forecast for your business, for how your business is doing. Understanding also any plans that you may have. So having a good business model for what to forecast in the coming months. Also, like I said, touching back on having financial statements ready, being up to date with them, making sure that you're tracking, especially if you obtained a PPP loan, making sure that you add it to your balance sheet, because that PPP loan is going to stay on as a liability until it's forgiven. So making sure that you keep track of all of your expenses and how you're using those funds from the PPP loan. The loan forgiveness application is out on the SBA website. However, some lenders have not started accepting the loan forgiveness applications. So I would suggest, anyone, if you have clients or you as a business owner obtained assistance through SBA, to start looking into it and start talking to your bookkeeper, your CPA, your tax consultant, as far as having good records on file. Because once the 6 months are done, then the PPP loan will go into a term loan for 17 months, if I'm not mistaken. So those are things to be looking at, for this couple of months. And yes, just making sure you have proper financial statements, and talking to your lender, letting them know where you stand, why you need the funds, and your ability to pay it back. What future projects do you have that's going to bring income to your company? So yes, and going back on the credit report, being up to date with where you stand on your credit. If you asked for a payment deferral with your institution, if you have a line of credit and you ask for a payment deferral, making sure that you are up to date with those payments. A lot of institutions may have done some payment deferrals, but they are still asking you to make interest payments. So just depending on your institution and what type of assistance you're requested, making sure that you talk to your banker and your loan officer to let them know, hey, I'm ready to get back on track. This is what my plan is, and I might need some assistance in the next 6 months, etc. Or I may be merging with another company. So, this is what I'm planning. So just having open communication with your financial institution is going to be a key to help your business.
Great information, Erika. So what I hear you saying is we shouldn't be flying by the seat of our pants and think that we're going to go and borrow money next year, right? Or even later. So having your financials in order.
Yes.
You have a bookkeeper or a CPA to help you with the organization of that, but also having communication with your lender or your institution, the people that you do your banking with. I think that's great advice. All right, so open up the lines. If anybody has a question for Erika, ask away. Y'all are a quiet bunch today. That was excellent information. So I know probably, some percentage of us on the phone may have applied for or received some kind of relief program, Erika. So maybe not looking to borrow money anytime in the next maybe 6 months, but beyond that, even the advice about having the PPP on our books as a liability, I think is interesting. It's not something that I've heard anyone talk about before, that it remains a liability until it is forgiven. And if your institution hasn't allowed you to submit your paperwork for forgiveness yet, then that needs to remain as a liability.
Correct. That will remain as a liability until it is forgiven. And it's really important that business owners keep track of how their funds were used, because as you have heard, 75% of those funds need to be used for payroll cost, and the remaining 25 will be for utilities, lease payments, etc. So just making sure that you have proper books and making sure that your entity is up to date, that you're taking care of those obligations that you had prior to COVID.
Yeah, that's great. And if you don't have a business plan, you should have one, even if it's changed, as Erika said, with the conditions. Mark Taylor, I saw you come off mute. You have a question?
All right, Erika, you're a professional banker and most of us are not. So, I mean, I'm familiar with Frost Bank, what I consider to be a local bank. But are there differences? I mean, is there an advantage to going with what I'm going to say a national bank that has, what I'm going to call a big box bank, or are there advantages that a local bank may offer? Just educate me a little bit on. Is there any difference at all, or do I need to go see them all, or what's your advice on that?
So definitely, I think the advantages. I'm gonna brag on Frost because I love Frost and I've been here, and I will say, we during the PPP program we were able to help over 16,000 businesses in Texas, and we were one of the top SBA preferred lenders that were able to help our clients, because we take the time to know who our clients are. We take the time to sit down with them and know what their challenges are, help them through those challenges, give them sound advice. We definitely don't want to give you advice that's going to hurt you in the end or your business. We're not in the business of collecting collateral. We want to make sure that loans are paid back. So with all that said, I believe there is an advantage of having a local banker, knowing who they are, knowing that you can pick up the phone, talk to them, and also knowing that there is a team behind them that will contact you. Frost is a Texas State Bank, and we have been in Texas for over 150 years. And we have very sophisticated online services that if you're the type of business owner that, hey, I'm good with my online portal, that's great as well. But if you need to pick up the phone, it's good to know that a local banker is there within your community. So I believe that's important. As far as larger banks, yes, I don't like to knock down any institutions because everybody is here to help businesses. The challenges that they saw was a lot of clients weren't able to get in touch with their banker or didn't know who they were. So it's important to have that local banker on your side.
Well, see, Erika, that was great. That's actually what I was asking for. You didn't bring it up. I did. So it's okay to brag on your bank because it's an advantage y'all have, right? So I got another question. There's a number of people on the call today that are live and work in the Beaumont area. And so I kind of have an idea that the money that Frost has in their vault doesn't spend or lend well in Beaumont. Am I right or wrong on that?
You know, we are expanding in Houston, and I need to check back. I need to reach out to you, but I believe there might be a location in that area. So
I need a location in that area. If I want to bank with Erika Alvarez, do you care if I live in Beaumont?
No, because we go to you, and we go to our clients, and we can definitely set up virtual meetings. We can set up telephone conferences. So we go to our business owners.
So you would go to Beaumont to do business with me if I lived there?
I would.
Yay. Well, I've met you in person, so I already know, you know, you're about that, but I just had an idea that maybe there's some people. Look, we all want to do business with people that we like, friends. And so if you could be my banker and my friend, even if I don't live in the shadow of your building, great.
Erika, great information. Thank you for sharing that with us today. And I appreciate you coming on to talk to us about having a local banker, because it is important. I dealt with a lot of business owners over the last few months who didn't have local bankers. And it was very tough going for them to try and wade through the process of EIDL or the PPP program because they didn't have anybody to talk to. So I absolutely appreciate the idea of having a local banker. I think that's amazing. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
Douglas Hord, my friend, my tax
Hello.
guy. I can't wait to hear what you're going to talk about today. Did you see what I named your talk? The consequences could be worse.
Oh, well, yeah, they absolutely can be.
All right. So first, introduce yourself, tell us your chapter name, and talk to us.
You bet. So my company is My Tax Guy in Houston. It's kind of self-explanatory. And I'm also a member of First Class Referrals with John Jenkins and Erika Alvarez and several other people on the call. So Erika was talking about having your books and records tight and having quarterly financial statements and your organizational documents in good shape and so forth. And I'm sitting here trying not to giggle because most self-employed people or small business people show up to have their taxes done with scrawlings on pieces of paper, random emails, crazy spreadsheets that don't really add up to anything, and that is their books and records. They have no business plan. They have no earthly idea what their revenue stream is or what their forecasts are. And frankly, their primary goal is to not pay taxes. So here's a couple of things that are going to blow up for you at some point. First, you're screwed when it comes to borrowing money for anything. You know, I have a buddy who sells Lincolns. And you know, it's not the same thing as going out and trying to buy yourself a new Bentley, but it's a nice car. And Ford Motor Credit is one of the most lenient lenders in the business. And they have been making loans for years. As long as your credit was good enough, they didn't demand proof of income. Within the last 10 weeks, that's all out the door. They're demanding more money down, higher interest rates, and you have to prove you can pay it back. If you cannot, no loan for you. It's a huge change. Mortgage lending, you're going to have to prove that you have the resources to pay something back. And that goes for people who have rental property. That goes for people who own their own business or are self-employed, people who are contractors. So not paying taxes completely limits your ability to borrow money. But then I have one new client to me. I did her it's her 4th year in business, her 4th year in a row running a loss. After 3 years, the IRS their computer system begins to ask the question, so why are you still doing this? You're not paying yourself anything. You're not making any money doing it. Why are you coming out of pocket to lose money every single year? And then they come and they ask you to come by and visit with all of your documents, which were, if you remember, scrawlings on random pieces of paper, a couple of crazy emails, and a half-baked spreadsheet. Best wishes. But then there's more. So every time you file a tax return, you get credit with the Social Security Administration that goes toward your ultimate Social Security retirement or your qualification for Social Security disability should the worst happen, and Medicare. If you report 0 income and 0 self-employment tax year after year after year after year, you could be like the guy that I'm trying to help fix right now, who did that from 2007 to 2018. He just turned 65 and he's not eligible for Social Security or Medicare because he hasn't paid enough in. He doesn't have enough Medicare credits in, and he hasn't paid enough deposits in for Social Security, and he's frantic. He wants to revise tax returns going back to 2007. So you are bringing yourself all kinds of consequences that go way beyond the, hey, I didn't have to pay any tax all year. So for people who are serious about growing their business and actually having a business, my very sweet lady friend Tricia Stetzel keeps saying, working on your business instead of working in your business. For people who want to have a successful business, you have to focus on having regular financial statements, all of your bank statements and activity reconciled, having annual financials, balance sheets, profits and loss. Not only that, it saves you money. Like, you come to me with an organized profit and loss and a balance sheet, that stuff goes into a tax return like right through a funnel. Whereas if you give me random scraps of paper and emails over a course of weeks, your bill just keeps going up. So it does save you money. You might have to pay the IRS, but it will benefit you in the long run because you'll be able to go to Erika and get your loans working. You'll be able to go to John and get a mortgage or a refinance. And you'll be able to go buy yourself a car in this environment that has changed so radically. And then when you need Social Security and Medicare, assuming it's still there, you'll qualify. And the IRS won't come after you.
I like that, where they're gonna come visit you. Or you go visit them.
Well, they'll come and they'll leave you a little note on your door inviting you to come to their local office.
For a pretty little audit.
Yeah, it's loads of fun.
Yes. Great information, Douglas. Thank you for sharing that. I had no idea about the Medicare and the Social Security not being there. I mean, it makes sense. If you don't pay in, you don't get it, right? But business owners are so busy trying to avoid paying taxes that they forget what's happening 10, 15, 20 years down the road because they didn't pay their taxes. Excellent. Are you ready for questions?
I am, sure.
All right, let's open it up. Anybody has a question for Douglas? It's okay, he can take it.
Douglas, this is Regina.
Hey, Regina.
Hello there. Great to hear this. Great information. You brought up an interesting point earlier. In your talk, you said a gentleman wanted to go back and pay. Is that allowed?
It's a double-edged sword, of course, Regina, because the first question that the IRS computer system is going to ask is, why didn't you file it this way to begin with? Right? So like, What's your motivation for filing? Oops, I just discovered on my 2008 financials that $50,000 deduction should have been with my partnership and not on my personal return. Really? So, you know, you could be opening a can of worms. But you can go back and amend. You just can't get any refunds if it's more than 3 years old.
Right, great to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who got really scared when Douglas said you need all of this stuff as a business owner and none of you had, or some of you don't know how, outsource it, right? Have a bookkeeper, have a tax guy, have someone who's helping you in your business keep all of that paperwork straight. I don't think anyone on this call is telling you you have to do it yourself.
I don't do it for me.
People out there that are experts.
I can tell you, Doug does not do it for himself. I do.
That's right. It was one of the best days of my life when I called Greg Alt and I said, okay, look, I suck at this. I don't like QuickBooks. I don't feel confident in it, and I don't do it. And I need you to help me.
I love that. I love, Doug, that you're saying you're the best tax guy on the planet and you hate QuickBooks, so you hired somebody to do it for you. That's the best thing we can do as business owners. Be good at what we're good at, and let someone else be good at the things that we're not. All right, any last minute questions? Doug, my friend, you did an amazing job. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. First class referrals, you guys rocked the house today. But
We always do.
I've got a special guest.
Okay.
That's going to tie us up in a tidy little bow, who's all the way from Southeast Texas. I just got to meet her yesterday. Mackenzie Lahaye with Edward Jones. She and I spoke on the phone yesterday. Natasha, thank you for connecting us. And I'm super excited about the information that Mackenzie's going to bring us today. So I named her talk, What's Changed with My Money, and she liked it. So that made me really excited. So Mackenzie, if you would introduce yourself, the name of your business, tell us which chapter you're from, and you might have to give us a little directions, like where in the world is that?
Okay, so like she said, I am Mackenzie Lahaye. I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones. Down here, I live in Nederland. I work in Port Arthur, which is actually further away from y'all than Beaumont, if you could imagine. We have a brand new chapter called Unlimited Success. We say, get on the bus, B&I Unlimited Success. And we are so excited. Today was our first official chapter meeting. And we did wonderful. I'm so proud of all of our leaders. I do hold the vice president position in the chapter, so I'm really excited to bring that. We call ourselves a chapter out of Mid-County. So the Greater Golden Triangle is made up of Beaumont, Port Arthur, and Orange and the surrounding counties. Mid-County is Jefferson County, and it is comprised of Nederland, Port Neches, Groves, and sometimes Port Arthur. So that's where we are. If you find us on the map, we're about 2 miles from the coast and about 5 miles from Louisiana. So we are right here in the armpit of Texas. I'm so glad to be here. Trisha, this is such a huge thing for me. I'm so elated to be able to share some information. And I have to tell y'all, when Trisha and I were talking yesterday, I had a good idea of what I wanted to bring to you. However, listening to Douglas and Erika and John, I have so much more I want to say, and I wish I had 20 minutes to go on, but I don't, so I'm going to kind of keep this short. Just to kind of echo what Douglas was saying, yeah, it isn't good to show no profit forever from business and also personal side. If you want to put your money to work for you and you don't want to pay so many taxes, there are some ways around that in the way of municipal securities, and that's something that we really like to show people who maybe do have a lot of income tax and stuff like that. So that's just an opportunity for you. As a financial advisor, it is my duty to do what is fiduciary, as a fiduciary, do what is right for you, for your money. So I just wanted to kind of bring up some different things. One thing is, hindsight is 20/20. I mean, if we could have seen what was going to happen to us back in December when the market was phenomenal at its highest, above 28,000, that is something we could have, taken into consideration and prepared for the downfall and prepared for people being out of jobs. However, what's changed with your money? A little bit, and then not so much also. If you look at the CARES Act, yeah, there's a lot to look at, and there are some different things that have been available to individuals. And we'll go over a couple of those things real quick. But also just remember, anytime that you are talking about your money, it's always good to budget. We preach always have 1.5 months worth of bills in your checking account, in a separate savings account, at least 3 months worth. So that does mean, putting a stop to frivolous spending, and it does mean being really disciplined when it comes to spending to get your money to that point. And then we like to say anything above 3 to 6 months that you have left over in your spending in excess money, we do like to put that money to work for you. That way it can grow in the background. It's safe money. It's money that you may never need to use while you're still working, but it will be there in times that you do lose your job or you're ready to retire, stuff like that. So again, 1.5 months in your checking and 3 to 6 in your savings. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay with y'all. All right. Okay, so these are just a few of the things that we're going to hit on the COVID legislation relief, also known as the CARES Plan, CARES Act. So the unemployment benefits, as business owners, y'all can take a look at these things. I'm sure that most of y'all have seen this. Also, if you did apply for unemployment, they are offering quite a bit more to people who are not able to go to work right now. However, as the economy starts to open up, it is really important to speak with your financial advisor or whoever it is that you do talk to about your finances, because it may not be worth it for you to take the option of the guaranteed unemployment insurance for 3 months, because your job is waiting for you and it may not be at the end of that 3 months. So it is very important just to take a look. Also, huge deal was the stimulus payments that was made, or that were made to all families in the U.S. You can see what the what was required to get the stimulus payment. Most people should already have those. If you don't, there are so many resources to get on the irs.gov website and get some more information on how to get yours. But I really wanted to talk to you about your 401ks and your IRAs. That's your money that is going to be there when you retire. So what's changed? That was Trisha's big question. What's changed with your money? Well, if you look at the market today, we are above 25,000. Which means in the Dow Jones that the average has gone up to $25,000. This is actually equivalent to where we were about August of last year. So yeah, in March, we fell big time. And I mean, it hurt. We went down to, 19,000. I think at one point we were actually in the 18,000s, and it was really scary for a little bit. But over the past few weeks, as we've seen some good news come through, we've actually seen that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So we're back at above 25,000, and that's what we want to see. We want to see that our money that was supposed to be safe for our retirement is going to be there, and it is. So just hang tight, because in every fall in the market, there's always the chance that it'll come right back up. All right, so if you do know anybody that does qualify for IRAs, that does qualify for your RMDs, I'm sorry, your required minimum distributions. They're actually waiving those for this year. That's a really big thing because a lot of people want their money to grow and they don't want to take their RMD if they don't have to. So that's a big deal. Also in the Secure Act that happened in December, that was something that changed the age of RMDs. It used to be 70 and a half, it's now 72. So that's a really good thing because you don't have to wait. I mean, you can wait, you don't have to take that money right then. Okay, so small business loans, again, the PPP, that was a really big deal. And if you haven't already, speak with your financial institution if you are a business owner, because you will be able to help out your business. A lot of those loans are forgiven. And while I'm talking about forgiven loans, right now, if you have student loans or if you have some federal loans that are in forbearance, just or what they've offered to people, that just means that there's no interest that's being added to it right now. And the best thing that you can do is take advantage and pay those continuously like you normally do, because you're paying principal only. It's a huge deal. It's a really good way to bring down that principal, and it's going to help you out in the long run. So that's about all I have for you.
That was awesome, Mackenzie. Thank you so much for bringing us some great information. The CARES Act, I'm sure, is something that you've poured over and over and over and over. And we appreciate that you're our expert, because then we don't have to worry about it because you can just tell us about it. I love, and I didn't do this on purpose, but I love that we had all of our baby chapters represented today. So First Class Referrals is a brand new, just hitting a year mark chapter. And Mackenzie, you had your first meeting today. Like, that's amazing. Welcome. All right. So if anybody has questions, please come off of mute. We've got about 8 minutes left and we can spend that asking away.
I have a question for Mackenzie. On the student loan, the no interest, do you have to ask for that, or is that automatic?
It actually was already added to most of those loans. So if you do have one, if you have internet access or if you have online access to the loan, you should be able to see that it is at a 0% right now.
Okay.
If it isn't, then I would get in touch with whoever it is that holds that loan and just check with them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I hadn't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
It's great.
I have a question. What are the ramifications for the option to pull out? I think the government was giving people the option to pull out the $100,000. Is there a penalty? How long, do we have to pay it back? All the little ramifications, the stuff in the small print that we don't know about.
That's a really good question. A lot of people are taking loans from their 401ks, more so right now. It used to be that you could only pull 50,000, and now you can pull up to 100,000, but that can't be more than 50% of what is actually in the account. So it is really important to check with whoever it is that facilitates that account, whether it's Fidelity or an Edward Jones account or whoever it is, and see. But there are no penalties. So normally, if you're under the age of 55. 59 and a half for a lot of people, but 55 for some. There is a 10% penalty. Right now, that 10% is waived. You do still have to pay taxes on it.
Gotcha. I'll talk to my tax guy about that.
Yeah.
Douglas.
Anyone else have a question? So Mackenzie, I would love for you to put your contact information in the chat so that if people want to connect with you, they can do that. I think our other 3 speakers have done that. Douglas, I know you did it much earlier. If you'll copy and paste it down to the bottom so that people can see it and grab your contact information and connect with you. You guys, I know some of you have been on this call multiple times, and I'm so grateful and thankful that you've been on. please schedule one-to-ones with each other. We have this amazing opportunity right now to connect with people from almost all over Texas, almost. And you guys should connect with each other. So if you don't know each other and you haven't scheduled a one-to-one, you should certainly do that. Do we have any other questions for Mackenzie or the other three speakers? All right, Natasha, I don't know if you're in a position to open up your phone line. It looked like you were driving earlier. If you guys have things going on over in your space, if you want to come off of mute and talk to us about anything cool going on out your way.
So I'm at my office now, but I'm on my phone and I couldn't do it with the dial-in internet, but yes. So Mary Alice posted in the chat, we are hosting something similar with the Dayton Chamber of Commerce, like today's call. They've asked us for some assistance, and so in educating their members. So we're doing that tomorrow at noon. So if you're interested in that, Mary Alice will have the link later today or early tomorrow. And then on Friday, we do a monthly education called Eat, Learn, and Grow at noon. And that is on our regional calendar as well. So at www.bniggt.com.
Awesome. Thank you,
So,
Natasha.
and then I think tomorrow I have a Sip and Socialize also on there. So we'll have to, it's all on that BNI event calendar. So y'all are welcome to come to network with us on any of those opportunities.
That's
Mark, I know I do CEUs and I allow ours to have CEUs, but that Mark will decide on that.
All right. Thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate it. I was going to ask somebody to type that in for us so we could get to the calendar. Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys so much.
Hey,
yes,
Tricia.
absolutely. You guys have been amazing. I love you guys as regional partners. This has been so much fun. So Mark Taylor, what do we have going on in our region that people need to know about?
Nothing.
Come on.
Always lots of stuff. So tomorrow, Thursday, no BNI talk allowed. It's hard, folks, but we have a couple of former teachers who always show up on that call, and they don't let us talk about any kind of business or BNI. So that's 8 o'clock. That's after the kids in bed and before some of you are about to go to bed. And so that's, if you want information about that, just contact me. It's a private club. And then, not really, but, and then always every Friday we have our celebrated rum call. Now folks, that's not alcohol. It's 8 in the morning. Rum is an acronym for Are You Making Money? It's my main concern about all of our members. Look, folks, we have a lot of fun in BNI. We have make a lot of greatest friends and so forth, a lot of great contacts. If you're not making money, that's a problem. And so you ought to be. You're doing something wrong or there's something you're not doing. Usually it's just a little adjustment, not a complete overhaul. But we do that every Friday. We share stories amongst ourselves about how do you make money in BNI? Because there's really a lot of elements there. And so that's this Friday. It's at 8 o'clock. Of course, our Beaumont friends are invited to attend. You can access that by going to bnihoustoneast.com. bnihoustoneast.com. Click on the event calendar, register, and see you 8 o'clock Friday morning.
Perfect.
All right.
All right. We have 90 seconds left. If anyone has a question or a parting comment, Mary Alice.
Hey, Tricia, I just wanted to say, if you guys are like us, we do really well in these little bedroom communities, and the Dayton Chamber of Commerce has over 200 members in their membership. But there were only like 9 businesses who were really shut down or considered non-essential. So there's still a lot of business being done in those communities. And I would just encourage you guys to take advantage of those kind of situations, because there's still a lot of people that really are doing business and want to be engaged with you. So if you're beating on doors and people are not letting you in, look for other opportunities and just keep those kind of things in mind.
Hey, Mary Alice, was of those 9 businesses who were not considered essential, would one of them happen to have been like copiers?
No. Maybe for some other copier companies, but not for platinum copiers.
Oh, copiers is still considered essential even in little, okay. Just wanted to make sure I was clear on that.
Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. Hey, Tricia, on behalf of everybody here, thank you. You're really the impetus behind this call. And so we really thank you. It doesn't just happen accidentally. I really appreciate you and just what you bring and value to our region and to really to others even beyond our region. So thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to ask for group participation going forward. So you guys be on the lookout because I'm going to be asking you for some help.
Great.
Thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate your time. Thank you to our speakers. You guys were amazing today, and we will see you next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.